All right, hopefully you finished up the Explore activity for 21.2 angle theorems for triangles. And what I hope you figured out was that the three angles that you have in a triangle together make 180 degrees. So there's a couple of theorems that go along with that. One of them is the triangle sum theorem. Now we'll turn the page. What the triangle sum theorem says is that all three angles in the triangle together come out to be 180 degrees. Now, there's a few ways to solve for that, right? We can either add the two angles we have and take away from 180, or think about the sum that's missing. So we'll begin by trying to work with triangle DEF. So find the missing angle measure using the triangle sum theorem. For that, we would need to put together that the measure of angle D, the measure of angle E, and the measure of angle F together make 180 degrees. Step 2 would be to substitute what we do know. We do know the measure of angle D is 100 degrees, and we know the measure of angle F is 55 degrees. So we will add 55 plus 100 to get 155. And we're left with 155 plus that missing angle measurement, E, is equal to 180. Now, through algebra, we know that to get this this add-in by itself, we're going to take away 155 from both sides. We're doing the inverse operation here. And when I take away 155 from 180, I'm left with 25. That means the measure of angle E is 25 degrees. One way to double check that for sure is to add all three angles together and make sure that you have 180 degrees as the total. So 100 plus 55 is 155, plus 25 for missing angle E is 180. That means the triangle sum theorem is correct, and all three angles together make 180. Let's find the missing angle measurements for triangle JKL in number 4. If I have 71 plus 56, I'm going to add those together to figure out what I'm missing to get to 180. So 71 plus 56 is 127. In order to find the missing angle K, I'm going to take away 127 from 180 to get a total of 53. So if I add those together, 71 plus 56 plus 53, I should get a sum of 180, which is correct. Do the same thing for number 5. Pause the video and go ahead and find the missing measurement for angle R using the triangle sum theorem, which adds all the angles together in order to get a total of 180. If you've done that already and you've returned, let's go through our work. What we do know is that the measure of angle S is 29 and the measure of angle T is 61. So we'll add 29 plus 61 to get 90. Now the only way to find the measure of angle R is to take away 190 from 180. So 180 minus 90 is 90 degrees. And that looks quite accurate. This angle R does resemble a right angle very closely. In this case, exactly. So again, just to sum up, the triangle sum theorem states that all three angles in a triangle should add up to be 180 degrees. Let's move on to a second theorem. This second theorem is going to talk about the different angles that are in our triangles, interior angles and exterior angles, and the relationship between them. So what I have here is a triangle with angles 1, 2, 3, and 4. Angles 1, 2, and 3 are considered to be interior angles. They're angles that are formed by the sides of the triangle and that are inside of the triangle that together make 180. So angles 1, 2, and 3 are interior angles that together make 180. Angle 4 here is an exterior angle. That's an angle that's formed by one side of the triangle and then an extension of this side. So it is outside of the triangle. It's an exterior angle. And the last term we need to know are remote interior angles. Angles 1 and 2 are remote interior angles to this angle 4, meaning they are directly across from angle 4. They are not touching angle 4, right? So angle 3 would not be a remote interior angle because it's right next to angle 4. What would be remote interior would be the ones across from 4. So angle 2 and angle 1. And what this theorem states is that the sums of angle 1 and 2, it's called the exterior angle theorem, states that the measure of this exterior angle is equal to the sum of the remote interior angles. So in this case, angle 4, the outside angle, the exterior one, is going to be equal to the sum of angles 1 and 2, which is going to make it quite easy to find the missing angle 3. Let's give that a try. So here I have a little bit of algebra involved with our triangle theorems. The exterior angle theorem is what we'd like to use. We'd like to use what we know. We know that this angle here of 52 degrees is the exterior angle. It falls outside of the inner triangle. Another thing I know is that angle 52 is that angle DCA, 52 degrees, or ACD, 52 degrees, is equal to the sum of the remote interior angles. In this case, that would be the ones across from this angle. So A and B. It can't be angle C because angle C is right next to it. Together they are supplementary angles. They make 180 together. So obviously, unless they're both 90 degrees, there's no way that one could equal the other, okay? So in order to find this missing angle, angle C, we're gonna go ahead and add A and B, so 4y minus 4 plus 3y, and set them equal to the exterior angle, 52. And at this point, we'll just use algebra, right? We know that 4y and 3y are like terms, so I can combine them. This is a positive 4 and a positive 3. It gets a positive 7y. Bring down the negative 4 minus 4 equals 52. To get the y by itself, I first need to take away the integers, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And I'm left with 7y equals 56. To get y by itself, I'll do the inverse operation of multiplying, which is dividing. So I'll divide both sides by 7 and get y equals 8. But I'm not done. All I did there was solve for the missing y. Now that I know the value of y, I can plug it back into angles A and B and find their missing measurements. So if I plug in 8 to the expression for angle A, I will have 4 times 8, which is 32, minus 4, which is 28. So that tells us angle A is 28 degrees. If I plug in 8 as the missing y piece for angle B, that is 3 times 8, which is 24. So angle B is 24. Now I can find the missing angle C because I know that the triangle sum theorem says that I can add all 3 angles to get 180. So if I add 28 and 24, I can find my missing angle C. So 28 plus 24 equals 52. If I take that away from 180, I'm left with 128 for angle C, which makes sense because it is an obtuse angle, right? And it has to be greater than this exterior angle because together they make supplementary 180 degrees also. Let's see if that's true here also. If I say this is 128, which does make 180 when added to the other angles, I should also be able to add 128 plus 52 to get 180 as well, which I do because these are supplementary angles. Let's try to find that for number 8. Let's use the exterior angle theorem to figure out what the missing angles are. So right now it gives me algebraically angles N and angles M. Angle M is 5y plus 3, and angle N is 4y plus 8. So if I wanted to write here, I will do, and this is my first time using it, I will write 5y plus 3 plus 4y plus 8 should equal that exterior angle of 146, because that is what the exterior angle theorem says. It says that these two angles together equal this angle on the outside. So I'll start to use a different color to start doing my math, and I'll use my finger here, it's much easier. So I'm able to combine like terms. 5y plus 4y to get 9y, and I'm able to add 3 plus 8 to get 11, which is equal to 146. Well, now I'm able to take away 11 and take away 11 from both sides and be left with 135 on this side equals 9y on this side. And in order to get y by itself now, I need to divide by 9, do the inverse operation. And if I divide 135 by 9, I get 15 as my value for y. Now, I'm not done yet. What I want to do is plug that y back into my angles m and angles n. So I'll go ahead and erase here. And I'll start working. So if I have 5y plus 3 for m, I will plug in 15 for y. So 5 times 15 plus 3 equals m. And now I'll solve. 5 times 15 is 75 plus 3, which is going to equal 78 degrees. So the measure of angle M is 78 degrees. Now how about value N, or angle N, I apologize. For angle N, I will have 4 times 15 plus 8 equals N. In this case, 4 times 15 is going to be 60, plus 8 equals 68. So the measure of angle N is 68. Now, just to be sure, I have to use the exterior angle theorem to double check my answer. And again, what that exterior angle theorem says is that this exterior angle is equal to the sum of these two remote interior angles. So I should be able to add 78 plus 68 to get 146, which is correct. So you have two theorems here. The exterior angle theorem that says these two remote interior angles equal the exterior angle, which makes it really easy to find the missing interior angle. Or you have, the triangle sum theorem, which says that all three angles added together make 180 degrees. Okay, you'll move on now to your homework. Take your time. Make sure you use those theorems to help you, okay? And make sure that you're always setting yourself equal to 180 when you're checking for your answers or your responses or these missing angles that you find, unless you're working with the exterior angle theorem where you can set them equal to one another. Good luck!